So this is like a really heavy topic. Hey girl. Hey, I am so glad that you decided to join us. I'm so excited to meet you, and I really appreciate it. So it's Ashley. I guess that's an interesting way of spelling Ashley. Um, really like that. That's neat. So what I really appreciate that, and I know you're friends with Shannon, and I think she said that you went to high school with her. I've known Shannon for a really long time, and so this is really cool to have like all the peeps in here. It's really cool. It means own your shit. I'm so excited to meet you. I'm so excited to meet you too. All right, so I'm going to be talking about owning your shit. Okay, so there's a lot that we're going to cover. Okay, so I'm going to try to move through this fairly quickly. And the problem is that a lot of times people kind of get in here late. So I really like to kind of give it a couple minutes for people to pop in. Again, Amber and Ashley, if you don't mind, when you actually see somebody pop in, will you say hi to them? So that I'm, that I know that people are logging in. From my end, I can't see that. So everybody, as you're logging in, say hi. And if you don't say hi, Ashley, if you see somebody log in, would you just say hi to them? Okay. Thank you for liking the video. Okay. So owning your shit. Oh, what does this mean? Oh boy. Okay. So the last video we talked about mastering your emotions, mastering your shit, and so like in this particular video, we're going to talk about how a lot of times we create these stories that we tell ourselves, okay? And on some level, we start to believe it, okay? And the interesting thing about that is when you actually believe that story, it's, hold on, we got people coming in and out talking here. So anyway, so like as what happens is that people, we actually tell each other stories, okay? I mean, we tell ourselves a story, and sometimes those stories aren't accurate. And the story that we're telling ourselves is usually something like, I'm stupid, or I'm dumb, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm, I'm not worthy of love, all of those things. But what's even more interesting is that we sometimes tell ourselves stories that are so far off. I mean, even those are far off, okay? But we'll just completely lie to ourselves. Like, okay, like I had somebody say, I'm not interested in having a committed relationship. I don't want a relationship. I don't want a relationship. And so, sorry about the noise in the background here. So anyways, I'll try to talk a little louder. Anyway, so basically what ends up happening is that a lot of times we'll say things to ourselves. We're trying to convince ourselves of a story, okay? We'll tell ourselves a story just to protect ourselves, okay? So we'll say something like, I don't want a committed relationship. I don't want a relationship because it's a safe, kind of like a mechanism, sort of like a border that you put around yourself. And it's kind of like a safety mechanism. Okay. So we'll tell ourselves these stories that aren't true. When the reality is that you really do want a relationship. You want to be in a relationship. You want to be with somebody. Okay. And then another thing a lot of times we do is, we'll tell somebody that something's okay when it's not okay. And you allow people to walk all over you and abuse you. And so like you're walking around not speaking your truth. And all these things are protection. Okay. What we're doing is protecting ourselves from being hurt. And, I used to be that person. I used to be that person that was a people pleaser and always protecting myself and always keeping myself from being hurt and all of that good stuff. Now, hold on one second, you guys. So, hey everybody for joining here. Amber, thank you for your comments. Yeah, I think that's right, Shannon. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm just checking in real quick. Yes, thank you guys for saying hi to everybody so I know who's coming in. Okay, so every once in a while I kind of stop. I'm sorry about the interruptions, you guys, with somebody talking in the background. I did tell them I was going live. I am in a community center, so I had to step away. I have dogs, and they're really loud, and they're really big, and they're like, you know, so I thought, I always try to like figure out ways that I can like find a quiet space so anyway, so I came into this area thinking it was going to be quieter, and you know, these people keep on coming in here, and they saw me setting up, they saw me putting the microphone up and the lights and the video camera and all this other stuff, you know, and you know, but hey, it is what it is. So it looks like they're gone. So we can kind of get back into talking about this. Okay. So what are some of the lies we tell ourselves? What are some of the lies that we tell other people? So we're lying to ourselves and we're lying to other people. And then what ends up happening is that you're the one who suffers. Okay. You are the one who suffers, not them. Okay. I was a major people pleaser. Okay. I was always trying to make everybody happy. And, you know, okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story. So my brother, after, you know, he never liked my ex-husband. He didn't like him at all. He used to call him, you know, Michael the asshole and all kinds of stuff. I mean, he just didn't like him. And as soon as I got a divorce, all of a sudden he became best friends with him. So I didn't like him for me, you know, but, you know, after we got a divorce, he seemed to like him. And then when I started dating, he was like, I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy. And then he didn't like anybody. You know, I brought around a lawyer. I brought in an accountant. I brought in an artist. I brought in a boxer, a professional boxer. I brought in a weightlifter. I brought in a gorgeous model. I brought in every type you can imagine. Like I brought in, shy guys. I brought in personality types, golfers, ex-football players, the whole 9 yards, bodybuilders, everything. Okay, I tried every kind of guy I can imagine, okay? And my brother didn't like any of them. And so he was always like making these little snarly comments all the time. And I was constantly like, I can't be in a relationship if you can't get along with my brother. Like I was trying to please him. And so here I was, working really hard to please everybody in my family or, it was terrible, and especially my brother. And so I, one day we were sitting down talking, and he was just like, "You just have poor choice in men. You just have poor choice in men. You're just terrible at it." Da 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 da. And I was like, "All right, you know what? Okay, so why don't you tell me what kind of guy I should date?" And so he was now his wife was sitting next to him while he was talking. Okay, and she was like, "Yeah, Russell, why don't you tell her what kind of guy?" And so he's like, all right, so I want somebody who's like super friendly, who likes to go fishing and who likes to go hunting, who likes to jet ski. And I want somebody who likes to golf. And I want somebody who's like, and he starts naming off this stuff. And he goes, I want somebody who has a really big personality, somebody who likes to drink and party and all this stuff. And I was like, and I just sat there for a second and I went, I don't want a guy like that. And I said, I don't want a guy who has a bigger personality than me. Because then I sort of like, mouse down. I want to be the prettiest. I want to be the funniest. I want to be the best in the relationship. And I want the guy to like adore me. Okay. So like, I want him to be like, oh, step down, and I want him to be intelligent so we can have these really philosophical, deep conversations. And I want him to be spiritual so that we can like really get into the metaphysics and the universal laws of the universe and, talk about spirits and crystals and aliens and and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I want to be able to meditate with somebody. I want to be able to do yoga with somebody. I want somebody to just sit there and listen to me. And he just looks at me and he goes, and that's why you have poor taste in men. And I was like, and his wife looked at him and she like kind of popped him on the head and she's like, dude, it doesn't sound like you want somebody right for her. It sounds like you don't want her to have a boyfriend. You want a boyfriend. And that's when I realized it just sort of connected with me. I was like, what? He wants a boyfriend. He doesn't want what's best for me. Okay? He wanted a boyfriend. It was what he wanted. He was being selfish. It was all about him. And I realized at that point I was never going to be able to please him. And I wasn't going to be able to please my sister. I wasn't going to be please my brother. I wasn't going to be able to please my dad. I wasn't going to be able to please my mom. I just said, fuck it. I'm going to please me. Okay? So I decided to own what I liked. Okay? To date who I liked. Because I would get into these relationships with somebody I would really like, and then I'd sabotage it because I was like, well, you're never going to get along with my family, so, we might as well end it now. Oh, by the way, I have gloves on. and so it was like I would sabotage the relationships because at a certain point, even though I really like this person, so I ended up, let me tell you what I ended up with. So I ended up with this guy who's bald, and he's got like a blonde goatee, and he's got tattoos all over him, okay, like all over him, like all down his arms, all down his legs, and he looks like straight off of like a biker gang kind of thing. And he's talking like this, and he's like gives you the poker face and everything. But he's my best friend, and I adore him. I like him. We have the best conversations. Like, we can talk. And he was the guy, when I fell in love with him? I fell in love with him when he did yoga with me. And I was like, you're going to do yoga with me? Okay. And he would let me talk about all my weird spiritual stuff, and he didn't judge me. And I was like, okay, I like you. So here's the thing, okay? When I decided to own it, okay? When I owned it, when I decided to be me, okay, me, that's when everything started changing, okay? That's when my life started altering. That's when I started becoming happy. Now, I'm going to tell you another story. So this is a bizarre story. So anybody who doesn't like weird and bizarre, you might as well just check out right now because it's going to get weirder. Okay. So, everybody, okay. Shut up, Shannon. What did Shannon say? What did he say? Why am I not seeing Shannon's? You see? Okay. Well, anyways, apparently all I'm seeing is actually I'm seeing Shannon, and all I see is. Oh, well. Okay. Well, I don't know what she said to you that you told her to shut up for. So I don't get to be in on the joke. Oh, she laughed at you. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, whatever. Okay. So my brother and my dad are solid. I'll mess up if they return. Yeah, I understand. Okay. I want to comment more, but I'm on the phone looking for it looking for live. Okay, got it. No. It's cool. It's cool. I'm just every so often I'm not even paying attention to the comments. I don't know what's going on, so I have to stop every minute, every so often, and just kind of check in. The comments are really more for you guys to kind of socialize and connect. And the women's group is really for connection. It's like finding other people you have things in common with and really building that connection. Plus, you're also learning, okay? And you really get to hear my crazy stories, okay? I swear to God, I have a story for everything, okay? If you can name a subject and I have a story, or 2, or 3, or 4, I'm telling you, I've experienced everything. Everything, okay? It's absolutely crazy. I swear to God. You want my book? Okay. I'm going to be writing it. I'm in the middle of writing it right now, okay? All right, so... And it is going to be called Girl Master That Shit. And it's going to cover all this stuff, like the stuff we're talking about today and everything. It's really about mastering yourself, not just your emotions, but it's going to be about mastering every part of you, about owning yourself and everything. So let's get back on topic, okay? So I'm going to tell you, really was like the major turning point for me, okay? And so here's a weird story. So hold on to your bootstraps because it gets weird. So... okay, so I met this really bizarre, monk, okay? And if you guys, I don't know if you've ever heard of, a mystic or something like that. He was beyond, psychic would be, if you called him a psychic, it would be, dishonoring him because he was so... You know, like he could do things that you didn't even, you would like only see in the movies. Okay. And so he was a mind reader. He was also telepathic. So like he could actually put thoughts in your head. He was also like a remote viewer of sorts. I mean, that's the only way I can label it. It's probably a lot more intense than remote viewing. So like he would watch me and knew like what I was doing. And so anyways, here he was, and he was like, so I ended up like kind of like studying under him. So he found me and decided, okay, you're going to be my new student. I'm going to help you. And so I worked under him for 3 years, but in the very beginning, he was really scared the shit out of me. Okay. Like I really wanted his help, and I really, really, really wanted to work with him. His name, his name is Patrick. But it doesn't really matter because he changed his name anyway. You probably wouldn't even find him under that name. So I know that that's his name, but he changes some Asian name. He's not Asian. So I don't know. I don't even know exactly. It's like Lao something dumb, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Anyway, I don't call him that. I call him Patrick. Okay, so anyways, so the first time I met him, I was introduced to him by a friend of mine in a crystal store. And when I walked up to him, they were like, oh, you got to meet this guy. You know, I walked up to him and he bowed to me. And he was wearing like this black robe made out of linen with like a hood and these long beads. And he was all like, and I'm like, and I reached my hand out to shake his hand. I was like, hey, you know, I want to talk to you about my sister. And before I knew it, he was sort of like helping me. Like, wasn't helping my sister, he was helping me. I suffered from a lot of depression and anxiety and all kinds of stuff. Why? Because I didn't know my shit. And so I was constantly upset because I was trying to please people, and I couldn't please anybody. And it was just a nightmare, you know? I was raised in a very, very highly religious family, and I was made to go to church all the time. And one day I just realized that it wasn't my thing. So I started searching for other stuff. And, you know, it was, what is going on here? Hold on, you guys. Oh, sorry. So I started searching, okay? And as I'm searching for all this other stuff, I, you know, in the process, I'm like praying, God, oh, help me with religion, help me find the right belief. I think I'm wrong, you know, all that kind of stuff. And sorry, but my nose itches. I know, and I'm wearing gloves, right? Okay, so here, I'm gonna take my gloves off so I can touch my face. Anyways, it's I have allergies. It's been really bad lately. So anyway, all right, so just to kind of, you guys that are just stepping in, I'm kind of telling a story about what happened to me, you know, on how I decided to start owning my shit, okay? So I was living kind of like what I would call like a double life, and on a lot of levels, maybe like a triple life or a quadruple life. There was like many facets of Michelle. Like there was this person, and only certain people saw that. And then there was this person, and only certain people saw that. And it was like wherever I felt safe, that part of my personality would come out. And I never merged them, okay? So I had somebody ask me one time, like, what would happen if you get all those people in a room together? And I'd be like, I would freak out because I wouldn't know what to do. And I'd go like totally silent, and I'd sit in a corner or something like that because what do you do? You know, like, you know? So anyways, I started getting all like, you know, into all the spiritual stuff and all the woo-woo stuff and everything. And I was getting criticized a lot because back in the day, because I'm 53, and back in the day, it wasn't popular like it is now. And so like if you talked about it, you were quote unquote weird. So I was classified as really weird a lot, and I was called weird a lot. So I pretty much tried to hide it. So that was like a side of me that I was hiding pretty strong. and I didn't want anybody to know about it. Like, very few kind of knew a little bit. I mean, some people knew a little, they didn't know everything. There was a few, like I said, I mean, it was like a little group over here knew about this, a little group over here knew about this, and a little group knew about this, you know? So it was little assets of my life that was hidden. And so when he came along and he was all like telepathic and watching me and shit, and he had all this great knowledge of the universe and shit, and, you know, and I was like, I really want to learn from this guy, you know? And so I really wanted to learn from him, and I couldn't deal with the fact that he was watching me, like always watching me. Like I would be sitting here doing something I shouldn't do, like that I didn't want him to know that I shouldn't be doing. And he would like send me a text message going, stop doing that. And I'll be like, okay. Then, okay, so we're going to get totally personal. One day he started talking about my sex life, and he started like, okay, so like when you done, you know, and I was like, you're watching me? And he's like, yeah. And I go, why? And he goes, because I can. And I was like, you're fucking kidding me. I remember talking to him, you know, for a while. I remember walking outside, going to the lake and having a conversation about like what he was doing. And, you know, I was on the phone with him and I was like, why are you doing this? You know, I don't understand. And he's like, why do you care? Like, all these different spirits are watching you. You're watching. What's the difference between me watching you? He says, you know about it. And he goes, you're watched all the time. Tons of people are watching you. And it just sort of like made me realize I didn't have any secrets. And so I was afraid he was going to judge me. Seriously. And I was like, oh my God, here's a spiritual teacher that's right there. And I was afraid he's going to be like, oh, you're not being a good student, you know, or whatever. So what I did was I started owning my shit. And I didn't do anything unless I was willing to own up to it. And it changed my life. There was a point in time where I decided that I wanted to become a Buddhist. Now, I'm not a Buddhist anymore, but I decided that if I was going to become a Buddhist, that I had to own it. I couldn't be a hypocrite because I hated the hypocrite thing, okay? I can't stand it when somebody tries to do the whole Christian thing and then they are like horrible people. Like they're just using Christianity to give them permission to be a bad person. Like, oh, I've been saved, you know, so it's okay for me to go and like fuck somebody over. And so it's like, really? And, you know, and a lot of spiritualists are like that too. They're like judgy, you know, and they're like, oh, well, if you smoke cigarettes, if you vape, if you drink alcohol, if you do this, you're not awakened. You know, it's like, I just can't stand people that are judgy or hypocritical or anything like that. I don't like it. And so I never wanted to be that person. What you're going to see from me is raw. So why do I cuss? I cuss because that's what I do in my real life. Okay. So why am I going to hide it from you? I talk about my stories in my life because I have nothing to hide. I am so raw. I live raw. Okay. There's nothing hidden. Okay. You want to talk about sex? I'll tell you every little sexual experience I've ever had, you know, if you want to hear about that. Okay. It's all crazy. And I've had some good ones too, and some crazy ones. And I've done just about everything you can imagine that I can think of. That's legal. Okay. So anyways, on that, I don't really have anything to hide anymore. And the reason that I got there was because the person that I admired the most, the person that I cared about the most, the person that I wanted something from the most, you know, was watching me. And so I started to monitor my actions and basically come to see me as that spiritual person. And because that was more important. And what ended up happening is he started seeing me actually taking ownership of who I was and stop lying to myself and everybody else. And so in the process of that, you know, what you see with me, people that know me that are actually around me all the time, some people say I'm sort of like, la-di-da-di-da, everything's happy, da-da-da. Some people say I'm like really quiet. Some people say I'm like extravagant and, big personality and everything, but I'm not like holding on to certain parts of my personality for certain people. That's just all of me. All those things that I compartmentalize for different people, it's like all the time to everybody. Like, I don't hold back. If I'm feeling quiet, I'm quiet. If I'm feeling spiritual, I'm spiritual. If I want to talk about this, I can sit here and, and like, so like I'll start wanting to talk about spiritual stuff. And I'll start, or I'll start wanting to talk about conspiracy theories to my husband, and he'll have a whole different opinion about it. And I'm like trying to get him to buy into it. Okay. And so I'm like, okay, listen to this video. Okay. This guy, he's really great. He's awesome. He's like, got this radio station. I love listening to him. And he's like one of my friends and blah, blah, blah. You're just going to love him. He comes home and he's like, I'm so pissed off. And I'm like, why? And he goes, oh, he got me really mad by saying this, that, and the other. And I just started laughing. And I don't really care. I don't care that he's on a different bandwagon sometimes. It's like, I'm like, well, why do you think that? And he says this, and I go, okay, well, whatever. If you don't enjoy it, he goes, no, I enjoy it. It's just, he shouldn't have said that. And I'm like, it's entertainment, Shane. I'm sure she'll say that about me too. It's like, oh, she shouldn't say shit. She shouldn't say fuck. Oh, she pissed me off when she said a cuss word. Oh, she started talking about metaphysics. Oh my God, she's, so, astral traveling or something, it's like, oh my God, I don't really care what he says. So, well, here's the deal. Here's what I did. Here's how I managed to change all this, okay? I stopped judging other people too. I let them be who they are. If you want to be crazy, if you want to have a different opinion or whatever, I'll start talking about aliens and Shane starts going, E.T., E.T., and I go, shut up. Like, and then I'll get mad at him and say, well, you believe in werewolves and vampires. Like, aren't you weird, And he'll go, well, they're real. And I go, no, they're not. And he'll go, why do you get to believe in aliens and I can't believe in vampires? And I'm like, okay, take your vampires and aliens and believe in them. I don't care. And so, but when it's this conversation, he's really good, about listening. But we have a lot of comedy going on, It's like, it is what it is. And we're two different people, like totally different. We don't have the same opinions about a lot of stuff, but we get along great because we enjoy a lot of the same things. And we have really fun conversations and they're sometimes really dramatic and really exciting and all this other stuff. But I don't have to expect him to buy into everything I say. I own my shit. I own everything. If I'm stupid, if I forget, if I do something dumb or whatever, like today I put, he had a shirt folded up and had it on top of something. I needed to move it so that I could put something else over there. And I ended up putting it on the counter. And then I started doing dishes and the water started splashing on it. He's like, why would you do that? I don't know. I just did. Some days you just have off days I wasn't thinking. He's like, okay. I'm like, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't get mad at myself. Okay, so I have ding dong days. I do. And then I have days where I'm so intelligent. I wonder, oh my God, why am I so smart? Oh, wow. I'm like super smart. And then other days I'm like, ding dong. Like, who would do that? It's because I'm very multidimensional, but I accept everything about myself. Now, how do you get there? You got to stop caring about what other people think. And here's what happened. Here's what happened as a result. Before, everybody was always like, I was trying to please everybody, and I could never please everybody. So I'd be like, okay, so I'm going to a party, and I'm like, oh, you like sparkly water, so I bring the water to the thing, and they'd be like, I don't like sparkly water. I just told you I liked water, and I'm like, oh shit, I fucked that up. Okay. Next time it's like, what kind of wine do you like? Well, I like red wine. So, or I think they said red wine, and I show up with red wine. I don't drink red wine, I drink rosé. And I'll be like, oh, I fucked that up. I was always trying so hard to remember everything, to remember the things that people like, to try to be the person they wanted me to be, to dress the way they wanted me to be, to act the way they wanted me to be. I remember sitting in a restaurant one time and I started talking like I'm talking like this, and I was all excited about something, and the girl's like, and I was like, From that moment on, I was scared to be myself. I mean, I was constantly panicking. I was always like, my heart's racing. Oh shit, what if I talk too loud? What if I do this? Da, 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 you know? And, you know, I lived my whole life in fear. Complete fear, you guys. Fear. And it was horrible. It was like a nightmare, okay? It was a horrible, horrible, horrible nightmare. And you know what now? You know what? I don't live in fear. I live in joy. I live in joy every single day of my life. And I just accept, you know, like when that guy, you know, was in here a minute, okay? Like he knew I was going to start the video at what time. I told him, I said, okay, I'm going to be starting in 15 minutes. And he's like, okay, I'll be out of here in time. And he, you know, and then he comes in here and he brings somebody else and he starts talking really loud. And I'm like, hey, I'm on the video. I'm like, and he's just like, I don't care. I mean, and oh, well, I mean, I'm not pissed or anything. I'm just like, people are people. Oh, well, okay. If you want people to accept you, you've got to accept them. Okay. You know, that's kind of the starting point, you know, is you have to understand that when you're trying to create a reality, you have to create a reality of what it is that you want in your life, but you have to mimic that as well. You have to become that person that fits into that reality. I was talking to one of my clients and she was telling me, I said, you can't like go over here and do yoga and meditate and like, oh God, I'm feeling so good because I'm doing my yoga, I'm doing my meditation, and I'm like doing my hypnosis videos and I'm feeling so awesome. And then my ex-husband comes in and he's like, oh yeah. She's like, no, I'm feeling bad. And I'm like, why would him freaking out or yelling at you ruin your mood? Why are you so impacted by that? What you need to do is just be you, okay? And that's his shit, okay? That's his shit. As long as you are sitting in the past and you're thinking about the past, as long as you're focused on the past, then you cannot create a reality. You can't create something in your life if you're always focused on the stuff from the past. If you're always worried about pleasing people, if you're always like, you know, I tell you what, I probably please more people now than I did when I was worried about pleasing people. That sounds really weird. I'm a lot nicer now than I was when I was worried about pleasing people, because I would always get so upset because I didn't do it right. So I stopped worrying about doing it right. I just started just being me. And you know, the funny thing is people actually like me. They actually like the me that I am versus the me trying to please them. Okay? Now that's interesting. They like the me that I am versus the me trying to please them. Wow. I don't meet people that don't like me. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because in my reality, the reality that I'm creating, the reality that I choose to live in, that because in my world, I'm the goddess and I'm the creator, and in my reality, that's the way it is. So they may exist, but my light's too bright for them to even come into my reality. Like if they're dark, they can't sit here. They're either going to be too scared. I'm going to scare the living shit out of them, and they're going to run like hell, like, and or they're going to like want to sit in my space because they're going to want to absorb it. Okay, and that's usually what happens. Like people want to sit in my space. You know, they want to be in my reality. They want to sit here, and that's because it's my reality that I'm creating. Okay. And as long as you're focused on the past and you're focused on the bad shit that's happening, then in that space, you can't create in. It's impossible. Okay? So, owning your shit, that means you have to be you. That means that you got to stop being a people pleaser. Okay, so let's go back to what I was saying. I please more people now than I did when I was a people pleaser. So, you know, I think I probably should stop for a second and look at some of these comments because it's like going berserk here. Okay. Nah, actually, I love this one. Thank you. See, everybody loves me. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Okay. All right. Um. Yeah, girl, can speak. Yeah, do your whole thing. I don't care. I don't have. I'm all about like just be you. You just be you. You just be you. And I'm going to love you the way you are. I love unique. I love to see somebody who stands out in a crowd that looks different, that acts different. I'm always looking for unique people. I love unique people. I mean, I love unique people. If you're like everybody else, it's like you're just like a freaking like one of the sheep that's following something. And like, what do I have interest in that? Really, seriously. Like, really? Like, if you're just like a little clone of everything else, like, why would I be interested in that? I'm looking for that piece of art that's unique, that's been painted by somebody that's so awesome, whatever. That's the kind of people that are in my life, and that's what you need to do. But the thing is what do? We judge people because they're different than us instead of loving them for being different than us. And when you change that about yourself, people will start looking at you differently because you'll attract the same kind of people that you become. Okay? Now listen to that. This is super important. You will attract the kind of people that you become. So if you're having issues in your life, it's because you're that person. And you need to look at that mirror because basically you're reflecting. Remember, you're the goddess of your universities. Okay? You're creating all this shit. And you need to look at it and say, what am I creating? What am I creating? And it's probably because you're tethered to somebody else who's got some fucked up shit, or that you're still sleepwalking around and you're not aware that you're super powerful. Remember, women are the most powerful creatures in the whole freaking universe, okay? And then when you realize that and you realize that power and you really grasp onto it, that's when you become a master creator of your life. And I'm not talking about manifesting $100 or a new car or anything. I'm talking about manifesting your fucking life. Okay? I'm talking about creating the world around you. I'm talking about making your life the best life that you can be. I'm talking about creating everything. We're not just saying, hey, I want a new car. Like the car gets old and fucking dies. Then what? Have you changed? You need to change, okay? And the way that you need to change is by not changing, okay? That means you need to own your shit, okay? You need to say, I'm going to be me, and that's it. I'm going to be me. That's it. Own it, girl. And I'm going to tell you something. When the second you start to own it, people see you as being powerful, and they get scared, okay? They get scared. Like they're going to want to start pleasing you, girl. I'm telling you, I promise you. Like, seriously, they're like, okay, that's some serious power. I say it at the end of every video. I always say, be the light, not the candle. Be the light, not the candle. Okay? I say that at the end of every video. You notice if you watch my videos, that's what I say every single time. That means because you need to be the light. You need to be like, okay? It needs to be so bright, and that light can be any color. It can be purple, it can be pink, it can be, whatever. I don't care. Yellow, green, blue, doesn't matter. I don't care. It doesn't matter. And you don't know everybody else's light is pink. I should be pink, but I really like blue. I really like blue. I really want blue, but nobody else. Everybody gives me a hard time because I don't like blue. I mean, like, come on. Seriously, the second you walk out with blue, everybody's going to be like, oh my God, I'm envying her. And then you're going to be like, now, if you live in the reality where everybody judges you, because that's what you believe and that's what you do, then somebody's going to come up to you and like, why are you wearing blue? Why is your light blue? Okay? But if you change your reality and you change your belief system and you stop judging other people, people will stop judging you. Okay? And you go into that reality, and that means that the reality you create means the reality you create within yourself first. It starts within. Okay? You start here, and then it starts to expand. Eventually, that light gets bigger. And eventually, everything inside of that light is from you. It's what's in you. Okay? So if you're living a fake ass life, then that's the fake ass life you're going to get. Okay, people are going to judge you, people are going to act like shit, people are going to be like all this and that, and nothing's ever going to be good, and that's because it's not good inside, ladies. Okay, that means you need to clean that shit out. Go sweep that temple. Blue is great. I'm going to be like, yes, I'm a force. I love it. I love it, girl. All right, let me check my little notes to make sure I covered everything. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I wrote up a few little notes. I haven't even looked at them yet. Let me see. Why are you letting everybody rule your life? I think I covered that. Why aren't you following your purpose? Get over and stop crying and start creating. I think we kind of did that one. How long are you going to have a pity party? Okay. As long as you're crying about the past, you're not creating the future. All right, there we go. So let's kind of go over that one a little bit. So, having a bad hair day today. And you know what the funny thing is that this camera does everything backwards. Okay, so I'm like, my hand, like, so I'm going like this, but in the mirror, in the camera, it's the opposite. And so it's like my hand's on the other side, so it's like freaking me out, you know? Like, I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so I was outside a lot today, and hair got a little frizzy. But anyways, all right, so yeah, I'm gonna start creating. The pity party's over. Okay, awesome. I'm super excited to hear it. Okay, so what this means is that as long as you're thinking about the past, you can't be creating the future. Okay, so how do we start? Okay, what that means is that you just got to decide. Somebody asked me, like, how do you do that? How do you do that? And I'm like, well, you just start doing it. Okay, so you just decide, I'm gonna act confident. So here's like a little trick. Okay, here's a little trick. So imagine somebody that you'd like to be like, and you do your makeup like that, or you do your hair like that, or you dress like that, and try not to do anything like too bizarre, like Cyndi Lauper, you know, or something like that. I mean, maybe you want to, who knows, like secretly you want to be Cyndi Lauper, you know? But let's just say that you just sort of like internally like have somebody that kind of looks like, okay, so like Rachel Ray. Okay, I like Rachel Ray. So Rachel Ray was kind of like one of my idols, you know, and so I was like, she's like real outspoken and everything. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to act like Rachel Ray. And so she's like outspoken and funny, and, you know, and she kind of has a similar look, you know, she's kind of chubby like me. And so it was like, okay, so, and don't tell anybody I'm acting like Rachel Ray. I just started like acting like it. It was like, okay, how does she act? You know, I'm just kind of like internally sort of like walking around doing that. I did that. I used to do a lot of role playing with this one guy I used to date. Okay, and I had like names for the different personalities I would play like, and that was super fun. And it was like sort of gave me permission to like act out that role that was inside of me. And as I started doing that, I started like choosing personality types that were really inside of me, but I was afraid, you know. So I you know, kind of like saying I'm being Rachel Ray was like easier, okay, because I was lying to myself and I wasn't owning it. Okay, so I did that, and I was like, all day I'm gonna be Rachel Ray, and I was like, hey, buddy, cooking and creating recipes, and like, hey, make this, I created this, you know, and it was fun. Okay, and I realized people were responding to me, you know, and then it started feeling natural. Then it was like, I'm Rachel Ray. You know, and you know, it was like really weird how this whole thing like started happening, and And I found that it was really quite exciting. Okay, really exciting to do this, and and I did it with a lot of different things. Okay, I still do it sometimes. Like one time, I dressed up like Harley Quinn and Halloween, and I painted my face like that. It was a little hard because you bleaches her hair. Okay, so it's all bleached, and then it's pink on one side, so kind of got away with it. It wasn't quite the look I wanted, but it was close enough. And I found this outfit. I went shopping and tried to find something that looked sort of like that, and I went and bought a bat. It was a rubber bat, but it was a bat. My dog had fun with that. He was trying to attack it. But I was walking around Pop and Shane with it, and I was all being all sassy, and, doing the whole Harley Quinn thing. And oh my God, he loved it. He loved it. People like it when you step outside the box, and and so what is it? Am I not being myself? No, I'm being myself, because one part of Michelle has all this over the top stuff. And then there's the other part of Michelle, which you guys don't get to see on the video very often. Okay. I don't know if you ever will, because it's not sellable. But it's a very quiet, reserved person that's just really, like a listener. And some of my clients get to see that. So they just think of me as being very zen. And so I've had some clients go, how do I get this? How do I get this? And I go, well, what's this? And they go, this, this whole Zen thing you've got. It's just part of who I am. I'm very multidimensional. See, the thing is, I wake up one day and I want to be Zen. The next day I wake up and I want to be woo, 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 It's because I'm owning it. Now, not everybody's like that. Some people only have a couple of dimensions, and that's okay too. But I just happen to be one of these people that just has so many facets to myself. Okay. So I don't hide those pieces. Some people, if you're around me, if my clients are around long enough, they get to see, every aspect of who I am. I'm also a spiritual channeler, and I do things like that, and I get all weird about a lot of stuff and everything. And some people never see that, not because I'm hiding it, but because it just never comes up. But I don't hide it. I just told you, I don't have anything to hide. You may never ever see it. It just may never ever happen. But the fact is that these are all parts of me. Okay. And I've decided I don't hide it. I'm not going to hide that I can do things that a lot of people can't do. I'm taking magical classes. Yes, I am. I'm in a mystery. And yeah, and that's kind of fun. It's really fun. And I've noticed that, doing this, I've noticed a lot of really good luck coming around me since I started doing it. It's really kind of fun. And I've learned a lot. So I'm learning Hebrew. Okay. And that's kind of cool. So you get to learn a little bit more about me, but there's so much, we could go on for ever, and I can tell you all this crazy stuff about me. You could probably just throw out a subject, anyone, and I can tell you, yep, done it. And that's because I own it. Okay. If there's something I'm interested in doing, I make it happen. When this opportunity came up to, enroll in this magical school, my husband said, don't you think you've got a lot on your plate already? This is going to be added more. And I was like, no, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it really bad. My heart's going, woo, seriously, it was. And I said, I'm going to do it. I'll just make it happen. And he's like, okay, you got a lot, Michelle. And I'm like, yeah, I get more accomplished in a day than most people do in a year, and, but that's because there's a lot of things I want to do. And I live my life that way. And that's because I own it. I don't sit here and ever say, oh, I can't get motivated to do this. Oh, I can't do this. I just do it. I just do it. You love the magical school? That sounds awesome. Yeah, it is. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Fellowship of the Golden Dawn. So that's what that's the one that I'm in. And I'm technically what they call a neophyte, which is sort of newbie, you know? So I have to learn the Hebrew alphabet and a bunch of other stuff before I can even like, I gotta learn how to do the pronunciations. I gotta be able to write it. I gotta know the meanings. And then there's like all these other rules that I have to learn before I can even actually get to level 1. So they call it 0, which, you know, is sort of like, we're going to test the ground and see if you're actually willing to do the work. So it's fine. I believe in magic, and again, religion idea. I believe every religion has its benefits and truths. You and I are on the same page. I used to be against, I'm having nose itches today. So the other day when I was having the allergy issues, I took a Benadryl, and then I had to drink a Bang to wake me up because I was just like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do this video. So now today I didn't take the allergy medicine, and now my nose is going crazy itching. Anyways, what was it? Hold on. What was what? I don't know. I don't know, Shannon, if you're talking to me. Anyways, so basically, kind of going back to what I was saying is that I forgot what I was saying. I'll let my train of thought. Anyway, here's the thing: you have to own your shit. Okay, so anytime you're trying to be Miss, you know, Wolfbane. Oh, shit, right? Okay. Anytime that you are trying to get people, you're trying to please other people, you're never going to be happy. So if you want to be happy, you got to please yourself. And if you please yourself and you stop worrying about pleasing other people, then you stop worrying about, you know, being judged, and you stop worrying about, you stop judging other people. And then all of a sudden that little element of that exits out of your life. So if you want to be a creator, if you want to be a master creator of your life, I mean, you really want to manifest. I mean, not just manifest, hey, I want to manifest a bottle of water. I want to manifest a new vape. I want to manifest a new car. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like living in purpose, like manifesting your life, like your friends, your family, everybody in your life. It's the person that you want. It's like creating a reality in which everything in your life is great. Okay. If you want to be that person, that means that you have to start being the person that you really are. And sometimes it's hard to figure that out because you've been spending your whole life being the person everybody else wants you to be. Okay? If you have spent your whole life being the person everybody wants you to be, a lot of times I hear people say, I don't know who I am. And I'm like, that's okay. Just start doing things and you'll find out. So, what do you want? I don't know. Well, then start doing things and see if you like it or not. So I used to think I was a specific type of person. I don't know how I got myself labeled that way. Honestly, I have no idea. I don't know. It's just the weirdest thing. I don't know. It's like I just thought of myself as this like crazy artist type, okay? And like poems and deep, Michelle's so deep, you know? and so like anything that had to do with creativity or artistic or whatever, I thought I was gonna like. So, you know, I saw this movie and there was some opera thing in it, and I was like, Original Sin. Yeah, that was the name of the movie. So Original Sin. And in that, you know, the opera was like made her cry, and I was so touched by the movie, and I was like, oh my God, I want to go. I know I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be that person. I'm gonna be that person that's sitting there going, oh my God, oh, I just like, you know, doing that. Okay, I just do it. And so one day, one of my best friends said, I have opera tickets. And so she started like, you know, taking them and going, I have opera tickets. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And we both started jumping up and down, and we got so excited, and we were like, oh my God. So I dressed up and I got all pretty and did all my makeup, put on a black dress and pearls and, you know, the whole 9 yards, curled my hair. And I went to the opera, and I was like dying. I was like, oh my God. Honestly, I was like, this is it. This is it. I'm not crying. I'm not touched by the heart. I'm not feeling it. None of this, you know? And I was like so disappointed. So disappointed. Okay. So I thought I knew who I was. Okay. Girl, let me tell you, I didn't know who I was for a long time. I'm still discovering who I am. Do you know that I'm still discovering who I am? Okay, so let me finish the opera story. So, I was kind of disappointed. So, a few years later, a male friend of mine said he had extra tickets to go to the opera. And I started laughing. And I was like, I went to the opera and I hated it. And he's like, well, this one's in English, so you'll be able to understand it. It's a little bit more, relatable story. It's not dark and gloomy and da-da-da. Chance. So I was like, all right. So I show up. And it wasn't dark and gloomy. And it's tolerable. And what I really liked about it was this old lady was sitting next to me, and she was like really cool, and she liked my fingernail polish. And so we talked about that. And so it was like, we had a long talk, and she told me about how long she was married. And I was like, what's the secret to be married so long? And we had a really great talk in between the breaks and stuff. And I liked being with my friend, and he was really fun. And the opera was better than the first one. And it was okay, but I didn't really like it. So, but I have gone to the orchestra, and I've gone to like the bands and stuff, and I was like, my heart just raced. Music, like, like Bach and all that stuff. And like when they get all those different, all those things playing at the same time, my heart starts pounding, and I feel like I'm going to explode. It's like, whoa, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I thought I was going to like the opera, and I did. Okay. So you think you know you may not know you. So I say try it and find out. Okay. And then I was all like, Michelle's so peaceful. It's like love and peace and la la la. And she's like a hippie, and I'm like all like hippie style, got my hippie jewelry on, and I braid hair half the time, and I'm wearing flip-flops and barefooted and all this other stuff, and half the time my hair's in a bun, and I look like a hippie most of the time. Okay. And I'm all like, love and peace, I should have been in the 70s. And my husband has guns. I'm like, gun, oh my God, a gun. I'm like freaking out. Seriously. And I was like, I really like this guy, but he has guns. Kind of freaked me out. Anyway, but I got used to it. Okay. And then one day, somebody was like banging on my window, and Shane was working nights, and I was like freaking out. And then the guy comes to the door and starts banging on my door, and it kind of freaked me out, and I got all scared. And so I told him, I said, I think I need to learn how to use a gun. Oh my God, he got so excited. Oh my God, you would have thought, oh my God, he got so excited. Oh shit, you should have seen. It was crazy. He's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Okay, and like the next day, we were like at the gun range, okay? So he's like giving me safety lessons and teaching me how to do it and all sorts of stuff, and I'm still like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I get to the gun range, and he shows me how to do everything, and I start pointing the gun, and I started doing it, and I started, and I'm gonna tell you something, girl, I liked it. I felt so powerful. Oh my God. I loved it. I couldn't believe it. Hear me of all people. Like, no, this is like Miss Hippie, love and light. Let's sing a lullaby. Let's do kumbaya. No, girl, I was enjoying that, shooting that gun. I really liked it. Couldn't believe it. I actually hiked the mountain. Okay, never thought I'd do that. Never in my entirely wildest dream. When I got to the top of that mountain, I was like, my heart was racing. I started crying. I was like, I never thought I would do something like this. Never. But I did. There's things that I have done in my life that I just decided to try, even though it was something I never thought of. And that's what I'm saying to you guys. So, if you think that you don't know who you are, okay? You're like, well, I don't know what I like. I don't know who I am. I don't know. And I'm like, and you're telling me to own this, and I don't know why I'm like, how do I own anything? All I have ever done is please other people. So here's what I say. Go try everything. Do it. Go shoot a gun. go, you know, go to a nude beach, have sex with somebody that you never have sex with, like, you know, if you're straight, have sex with a woman. If you're bisexual, have a foursome or something, or go whatever. I don't care. I mean, just like live it up, baby. You know, like just try it. You may like it, you may not like it. Okay, who cares? You know, try everything. Do it all. You never know until you try it. You never know until you try it. Okay, I'm saying, you know, do it all. Do it all. Go climb a mountain. Go sing out loud. You know what I do every night? You're gonna laugh. You know what I do? You're gonna be like, oh, that doesn't surprise me. At 8 o'clock every night, I howl at the moon. Yes, I do. I do. I go outside and I howl. I don't know. Somebody was doing it and I heard it on the internet. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that too. So I did. Every night. My dogs look at me like I'm whacked. They're like, can I do it? Can I? Or am I going to get in trouble? I'm like, come on, let's howl. Anyway. I know I'm a kook, but not all the time. A lot of times I'm really kind of quiet. Like, seriously. A lot of times people don't even realize this side of me exists. So, but that doesn't mean I'm hiding it. I don't hide any part of me. You know, it's, you get what you get, you know, and just roll with whatever's happening. So, on that note, ladies, bottom line is, own that shit. Okay? Own it. You own it, you own it, and own it. I fucking love you, damn it. I love you too. Thank you. Let's howl. Yes. Ow! Okay, you guys. It is 7 o'clock, and I have another video to do. I gotta actually go live on my main page in about 30 minutes. If you want to see it, I'm going to be talking about. What am I going to be talking about? Hold on, I forgot. Hold on, give me a second, and I'll look it up. That's crazy. Yeah, are you asleep or are you? That's what it is. Yeah, it's like, are you sleeping or are you awake? I'm going to go on the main page, so it's not a women's only topic. So I know this right here is probably could go both ways, but you know, it is kind of part of what my book's going to be about. So I'm kind of trying to keep it all like together and deal with like more women's issues. I think that women are the tendency of being like this more than men do, you know, like, and I think that when I started hanging out with more men, I started realizing that, and it did make a difference, you know. It does help because, you know, men like real. That's the bottom line. Like, they don't like fake. You think people are drawn to me? You're good for people's energy. Thank you, Shane. I appreciate that. That's because I manifest that, okay? It's because that's my reality, and that's what I believe, and that's what I want, and that's who I am inside, okay? So, and that's how I feel about other people. So it's sort of like what's inside ends up getting projected outside. And so I kind of like, you know, like people too, you know, and, you know, it is what it is. I end up having conversations with strangers all the time. In fact, right before I started this video today, I was having a whole conversation with some lady. And I asked her all about, you know, she was in here, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm setting up for a video. What are you going to be doing? And I'm like, I'm going to be talking about self-help and helping women. Really? What's the subject? And so I started talking, and I started telling her all this stuff. And men needed to. Yes, they do. Poor little pointed heads. But honestly, and I do videos for everybody. You guys look at my main page. I have, you know, mainstream videos, and I'm doing one today. Okay, so I gotta get off here so I can take a break. I'm gonna go vape on my vape for a little while, go suck down some water, and and I'll be on my main page, not in this one. I'm gonna be talking about letting, you know, not sleeping. Okay, and basically this is gonna be talked about. A lot of people really think they're awake, you know, like, oh, I'm awakening and all this other stuff, and they're still sleeping. So we're gonna talk about that. Man, I got a lot going on. So, you ladies are fabulous, and thank you so much. Please share the video. Well, I guess you can't share. You can always invite your friends to the group, and kind of get some more in here. So I guess that's it, you guys. Y'all have a fabulous day, and remember, be the light, not the candle. Good night, everybody. I love you.